Hey, 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 how are you doing? Listen, this is Wanda Dow from Executive Childcare Consultants, and I'm here helping with your professional portfolios for your CDAs. I'm teaching several classes for the CDA, um, that CDA process, and I'm in a lot of support groups, and I'm seeing that some people are having problems, and they don't have the guidance. So I decided, hey, you know what? Start creating some videos to try to help people out, because it's not, to me, all about the money. Even though I teach a class, it's not all about the money. For me, it is. I'm very passionate about getting qualified, educated teachers in the classrooms with our babies. And let me say, I commend you all for going ahead in this profession and getting your CDA. Thumbs up, y'all, because our babies they need so desperately um, knowledgeable educators that are working with them. Educators or teachers or caregivers, whatever you want to call yourselves, they the children need us to know about their development. They need for us to know about how they grow. When we don't understand, when we feel like they all fit in this little box, and if they're not in a little box, we're pulling our hair out. We do that, right? So everybody doesn't fit in a box. Even as adults, we don't fit in a box, and you have to make learning fun. And so that's what I believe in. When I'm in the classroom, my children are having it's you hear a lot of laughter, but you see a lot of learning. And some people walk in and say, these children just playing. Well, play to children is work. Okay. So, and I want for everybody to know that. Well, anyway, I dropped by today to talk about we're working on competency statement two, and I got notes right here. So if you see me looking down, I'm reading some of my notes, because I can't keep all this stuff in my head. As I'm getting old. It's okay. But anyway, we're talking about CDA competency statement two, okay? And some things that I want to bring to your attention when you're writing competency statement two. I want you to know that when you start writing, have no more than 500 words. But please don't just write one paragraph. Your portfolio is a reflection of you and your professionalism. And so when you go in and you write one paragraph, number one, it's required that you write at least 250 words, but don't give the minimum. Write a good reflective statement, okay? And this is what I want you to talk about in your reflective statement, okay? So we want to talk about, you want to use real world examples from your classroom, what you're already doing in your classroom. Okay. We're going to talk about the physical development, and I talk about how in your daily practices you support the development of children's large, which is gross motor, and fine motor skills. Okay. Talk about how you take them outside and they play for an hour. You have that on your schedule. Talk about all of that in your reflective statement. Talk about the cognitive development, how you provide the materials and experiences that encourage children's curiosity, problem solving. These are things that you're doing every day. We just need for you to write about it, okay? And write details about what you're doing in your classroom. The communication, language development, what are you doing to encourage that? You need to explain how you help children acquire and use verbal and nonverbal communication. Mention specific strategies that you use for supporting dual language learners. Include your dual language learners, okay? And the creative development, how you provide a supportive environment that allows children to explore music, movement, and visual arts to express their unique ideas. Okay, these are things that you want to include in that competency statement. Then, when we will talk about, and so after you've finished composing your competency statement, you have to create the 9 experiences. for your resources. That's the resource for competency statement 2. And the 9 areas, you have to list 9. I'm gonna kind of, because I wrote all this down, and I want you guys to really know, because I have seen too many candidates getting frustrated because they really don't know, and people aren't guiding them. And like I said in the beginning, it's not all about the money to me. I teach a class, and but I don't like to see the frustration. Our teachers should not be frustrated. That does something to me. Okay, I'm a teacher, so when I'm not guided through something, it bothers me. So here I am to guide you. Okay, so with the 9 areas, you need to list the 9 specific learning experience that are required. You got science and sensory. You got language and learning, language and literacy. I'm sorry, language and literacy, creative arts, fine motor, gross motor, self concept, emotional skills, social skills, and mathematics. And we really kind of just talked about all of that when we were talking about the reflective statement. So we're saying that we're doing it in our reflective statement. Now the council wants to see some examples. So whatever curriculum you use, the get activities from there that are science activities, your fine motor skill activities, and make sure that it is for your age group. I'm going to go over all of that in a few minutes, but I want for you to know that these are things that you're doing every day. Unless you're that teacher that sits in the classroom while the children playing on the floor and you like this right here. Yeah, no, no, no. We're not going to do that because our children deserve our attention. And you want to be a wonderful teacher. When I was in the classroom and I'm trying, you see a child when you assess them, as you're doing your observations, because that's what you're doing. You're observing them and assessing them where they are, and you're trying to move them. When they learn new things in my classroom, oh my God, I was so excited. I was walking around like, hey, I'm bad. You know it? Yes, because I taught them that. So now I'm going to teach them something else. And it was no stopping me. It just was no stopping me. So our children deserve our attention. So when you're creating this, the 9 experiences, I want you to understand that each one needs to be clearly labeled. It needs to be clearly labeled. And it should include, well, not should, it must include the activity title. Write this down now. Activity title, the intended age group. Say, for instance, if you are working with mobile infants, it should say mobile infants. If you're working with preschool, it should say 3 to 5 years for preschool, okay? If you're working with infantry, it should say young infants, okay? So we got the activity title, the intended age group, goals for the activity, the materials needed, the process or slash teaching strategy, and a brief explanation of why the experience or activity is developmentally appropriate, and make sure it is developmentally appropriate. And let me kind of talk about that right now, okay? Because I do a lot of interviews, and in interviews, that is one of the questions, and I want you to know this. That's one of the questions on in early childhood, whenever you're applying for a job, that question always comes up. What is meant by developmentally appropriate? And every time in my interviews, I don't take points off because that's not me. My job is to coach and to teach. But every time the the teacher or the person applying for the job says providing activities based on their child's age. And that's what you call age appropriate. Okay? Because just because you have a child that's 4 years old, and I've been there so many times. A child that's 5 years old, and because they're 5 years old, they cannot speak because they have what's called autism. So developmentally appropriate is based on where this child is developmentally. And so that's where all of that observations and assessments, that's where that comes in. Okay. I go more into detail with all of this in my class. Right now, I need to get back on track, right? Because we're just focusing on the professional portfolio and what's needed for the reflective statement and the 9 experiences. Okay, so again, I'm a backtrack. I said that each experience must include the activity title, intended age group, the goal for the activity, the materials needed, the process or the teaching strategies, and a brief explanation of why the activity is developmentally appropriate. Okay. Um, you have to, and I just kind of hit on this, you have to tailor your activities based on the specific setting. So if you are an infant teacher, you have to tailor your activities for um, if you're in the infant classroom, you have to tailor, well, it's really infant toddlers. So you're going to do 3 activities that are for infants, 3 activities that are for mobile infants, and then 3 activities that are for toddlers. And if you are a preschool teacher, getting your preschool CDA, you're going to focus on all 3 to 5 year olds. If you're doing an activity that's strictly for 3 years old, you're going to put that age group there. Okay. If it's specifically for 5 year olds, you're going to put that age group there. But you can put 3 to 5 years. Okay. So a couple of more tips I want to share with you. I'm sorry, like I said, I'm reading because this, I want for you to succeed. Reflect like a professional. Okay. I want you to know that the CDA reviewers, I am a PBS specialist. So when we're looking for personal growth and intentional teaching. We're not looking for perfection. Oh my God, I want to repeat that. We are not looking for perfection. I have gone in so many classrooms and the children, y'all know, the little children cut up when you got somebody new coming in. I'm not observing them. What I'm observing is how you as a teacher is redirecting. And what I would suggest, because with my CDA candidates, I go in before their verification visit, I go in and have a meeting with that teaching team. Because whether you're the lead teacher or the assistant, if you're applying for your CDA, that day you're going to be the lead teacher. So you should practice that before your verification visit. That's number one. Number two, your teammate, if she is the lead teacher or what, when she sees that somebody is a child is getting outrageous, she should be the one that steps in and redirects, because my eyes are only going to be on you, focusing on you and how you're teaching. And your assistant should step in when there's disturbance or when a child wants to go to another place. I'm not looking at you to do that. I'm looking for your assistant to do that. So that to me is just good teamwork. Now that doesn't mean it's going to happen. And then you have to think about those children, that if you have a teacher that's not a team player, because I mean, listen, I'm just going to be real with you. I've been in this over 30 years. And I know there are times when you and your teacher you guys are not gelling. Okay. So if you have a teacher that's not a real team player, you need to plan ahead of time activities that you need to do for your challenging child. And say it while you're being observed. Okay. So that's number one. I want to talk to you about personal growth and intentional teaching, and that will be intentional. Okay. Connect your written reflections directly to specific items in your resource collection. And I've already talked to you about that. We already are writing about what we're doing in the classroom as far as helping our children develop physically and cognitively and communication and language development. We're already talking about that in our reflective statement. Now we have to show some of the activities or the experiences that we're providing for them in the classroom. So, and also consult with your competency statement, your standard book. Read it, y'all. I can't say this enough. Read your book. I have taught over 75 students in the past maybe 3 years. Everybody passed except for two. Listen to me. 75 students. Everybody passed except for two. And that to me, when one of my students failed, that's like, what did I do? I didn't do something right. And so I met with these two students and I'm like, we're fixing to do this again. And while we were in there with some more students, we were in a physical classroom with some more students, and I'm asking them to pull out their books. Guess what they said? Oh, I didn't read my book. I think I froze for about 3 minutes. Because how are you going to go take an exam without reading the book? It's not, you don't know everything, guys. So read your books, okay? Because I got that down to avoid missing any minor details, okay? So read your books. I am so proud of you for going on to get your CDA certification. I'm proud of you for that. I encourage you. I want you to check out the link below. I'm going to have I'm uploading some resources into my website. It is executivechildcareconsultants.com. So I will be putting some resources in that on the website, and I'll leave that link down below. I encourage you to reach out. You can email me, text me, whatever, if you have any kind of problems. Because, like I said, I'm a teacher, and my thing is, I want to see you succeed. I don't care where you are in the United States of America. I don't care, because wherever you are, there are children, and my passion is for children, and I want you to be the best teacher that you can be for those children that you serve. It's good seeing you guys. I'll be back with another one. And forgive my video. I just started doing the video. This is actually my first one. And I only decided to do it when I saw frustrations in some of the CDA support groups. And they're not, and teachers are not receiving the support that they need. And then I noticed that in management, they don't know the process. They can't explain it to you. And that's the part. So I started creating these videos. They're going to get better and better, y'all. I can promise you that. But you got your information. You got what you needed in this one. And I will be uploading the next one in another week. And I'll see you then. Okay? Y'all be good. Take care of those kids.